Have you ever really stopped to think about it? I mean, really, every single second of every day, your body is waging this constant, invisible war just to keep you, well, you. Today, we're diving into that incredible balancing act. So let's start with this. You wake up, you eat breakfast, maybe you go for a run. You feel stressed, you fall asleep. Your body is constantly being thrown for a loop. So what is this invisible force that's holding everything together, keeping everything on an even keel?
Well, whatever that force is, it is fighting a non-stop battle. And it's fighting on two fronts, against chaos from the outside world, like the temperature dropping, and chaos from within, like your blood sugar spiking after a meal. Every single thing you do is a potential disruption that your body has to manage, instantly and without you even thinking about it. And we're not just talking about one thing here. Your body is this master juggler. I mean, look at this list. It's constantly adjusting. Your temperature, your blood sugar, your oxygen levels, all of these things, and so many more, have to stay within this incredibly narrow, life-sustaining range. If any one of them gets just a little too high or a little too low, things can go sideways and fast.
So, there's a name for this amazing balancing act: homeostasis. Now, the key thing to get here is that it's not a fixed state. It's what we call a dynamic equilibrium. It's more like a continuous dance of tiny adjustments, always fluctuating but staying within that safe zone to keep you alive and kicking.
Okay, so how in the world does your body pull this off? How does it coordinate everything? Well, it relies on two master communication systems to send messages and get trillions of cells on the same page. And these two systems are like night and day. You've got the nervous system, that's your body's internet. It's a super fast electrical signal sent down a specific wire to a specific target. Boom, done. But then you have the endocrine system. Think of that one more like the postal service. It sends out a slower, chemical message into the bloodstream, and that message can go everywhere, reaching tons of different cells and having much longer-lasting effect.
So let's zoom in on that postal service, the endocrine system, and its incredibly powerful messengers, hormones. These are the chemicals that are really orchestrating the body's long-term game plan. Hormones are just unbelievably potent. They're made in one little part of the body, they hop into the blood, and they can cause these huge, dramatic changes in a totally different part of the body. And the crazy part is, it only takes a tiny, tiny amount to get the job done. But wait, if these hormones are just floating around in the blood, how do they know where to go, right? Well, it's all thanks to this brilliant lock and key system. A hormone, the key, can float past millions and millions of cells, but it won't do a thing until it finds a cell with a perfectly shaped receptor, the lock, that it's designed to fit. It's genius. It ensures the right message only gets delivered to the right address. So, we've got the messengers. But how does the body know when to send a message and, maybe even more important, when to stop sending it? That's all handled by this beautiful control mechanism called a negative feedback loop. It's basically the system that prevents your body from going too far and overcorrecting. Honestly, it works just like the thermostat in your house. Let's say your body gets too cold. That's the stimulus. Sensors in your skin and brain detect the change and send an alert to the control center, your brain's hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then signals your muscles, the effectors, to start shivering, which generates heat. But here's the crucial part. Once your temperature gets back to normal, that system sends a signal back to the brain that says, "Okay, we're good, shut it down." That's the negative feedback. It stops the shivering so you don't overheat. All right, let's put all these pieces together now. We've got the endocrine system, we've got hormones, we've got feedback loops. Let's see how they all work together in a real-world example, the hormone cascade that controls reproduction. The entire chain of command, the whole thing, kicks off in the brain's control center, the hypothalamus. It fires off the very first chemical order, a releasing hormone called GnRH, to get the ball rolling. Now that first hormone, its only job is to talk to the pituitary gland, which is sitting right next door. It's kind of like a CEO telling a manager to get a team working. The pituitary gland gets the message and then releases two new hormones into the bloodstream. So now those two new hormones hit the body's superhighway, the bloodstream. And they travel all the way from the brain down to their final destination, the gonads. And only when they arrive and find their specific lock and key receptors do the gonads finally get the message. And what's the message? To start producing the final hormones in the chain, like testosterone or estrogen, which then have effects all over the body. It's just a perfect, beautiful example of the endocrine system's coordinated power. So here's the big takeaway. We tend to associate hormones with specific things, like puberty or pregnancy or mood swings. But that is such a tiny, tiny fraction of the story.
This quote absolutely nails it. This idea that we're only hormonal sometimes is just a total myth. The truth is, our bodies are constantly being guided and regulated by dozens of different hormones, 24/7.
And that's exactly why this matters so much. These chemical messengers are the invisible conductors of your body's orchestra. They're telling you when to sleep with melatonin, they're managing your stress with cortisol, they're controlling your energy with thyroid hormones. This constant, silent regulation is literally what allows you to live your life. So, I'll leave you at this thought. Hormones are just one of the body's incredible, invisible systems. Right now, as you're sitting here listening to this, there are countless other silent, complex processes all working in perfect harmony to keep you, you. Makes you wonder, what else is going on under the hood that we never even think about?